Good day, dear subscribers, this is ISON and welcome. I want to continue the discussion with you on the topic of improperly installed video surveillance. That is when money was spent, when a company was hired, or you went to buy the video surveillance system yourself, and the very situation occurred where the video surveillance was supposed to capture the incident to quickly help find the perpetrators, but it didn't help. Frustrating. I see many such videos online and on TV. Here are examples I gathered, all from YouTube's first pages. Often cameras chosen are unsuitable for this task. There's no good or bad in video surveillance, only if it's suitable for the task or not. Watch the first video. Jewelry store. A security guard is sitting. It's daytime. The door is open. Right away we can see that a professional should have installed a camera with WDR. Because people actually come in and they really appear black on the screen, this means a robbery is happening. These clips will have a lot of action. That means the robbery is unsuccessful. The perpetrators are running away. Now let's watch it again. That exact moment when they enter. Exactly. Let's zoom in right now. Let's lift it up. Here we have faces, all in pixels, which you can take and highlight in a detailed manner. Place it precisely like this to ensure accuracy, and this is the information we will provide to the police for their further analysis, identification, and documentation for the police records. It's very frustrating. I mean, all they needed to do was install decent cameras. Again, it's unclear what the situation was. So it could be that the owner of the jewelry store chose to save money. Maybe a contracting organization came in, which they trusted. It checked, but for some reason the owner was the one responsible for security. At this site, I accepted such work that even here at 2-3 meters, there is no facial clarity at all. As we can see, people are not wearing masks, just sunglasses. Here, from this angle as well, this is what can be provided to the police. Here's a shot. Slightly better. Let's watch the next video together. So, here we have a car and the video is titled "Started in Gear." In this video, let's see what happens. So, in this particular case, this is a situation where an auto repair shop or perhaps even a car wash had a security camera system installed. Moreover, we will undoubtedly and clearly see here that with a low frame rate, a car will definitely and absolutely be passing by. Here, it is most likely 12 frames per second, which means the video is lagging a bit. See, people are moving with a delay, indicating a low frame rate. We see a frame where a car is moving in our footage. Again, they saved on costs. So 25 frames per second is considered real time. Nowadays you can get these recorders for the same price as those with 12 frames per second. Again, if we're talking about low resolution, there's no clarity here. So if we once again highlight this particular object, which includes faces here and cars, and then attempt to enlarge the entire scene, we will end up with roughly the same situation as before. This means that the overall outcome will not change significantly. In general, it can be said that, generally speaking, video surveillance, that is, typically has 4 main tasks. So we see that information is available, it's not visible even in the day, and at night it's even worse. Any video surveillance is worse at night than in the day. Globally, video surveillance has 4 main tasks. The first is protection and security. Video surveillance should help deter crime. We all know the official statistics. A location with video surveillance is 3 times less likely to experience any criminal activity. And the second task is, of course, to help find the perpetrators. I have mentioned many times that 90% of all robberies, thefts, and illegal activities are committed by repeat offenders, meaning there are already photos of them. The provided images will help find them quickly. You must prove it. That is, a person might say they didn't do it, and if you don't have a clear image showing that it was indeed them or their car, then you can't prove it in court. Comfort, especially in a summer house. You're sitting at home, watching to see if it snowed, who came, who's knocking at the door. You see it's your friend and you open the door for him with a button. The third task is analytics, meaning the camera might have been installed for these purposes. Maybe it's a car wash, so the owner or the service staff can see if there are cars there. For this task the camera is suitable, but for everything else, unfortunately, it's useless. It's just money down the drain. Let's move on. Interesting footage. Here is a classic camera from AliExpress, analog. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1 or 2 megapixel camera, showing terrible quality. This video is called Draining Gasoline. Here you can see a person approaching the car with a canister. I won't even zoom in here. It's clear that it's very difficult to get any information, like what car the person arrived in, or even to make out its make. And here, it's the same situation. We see people siphoning gas. Let's try to carefully zoom in on the face, zoom in closely on the person's face and observe. Alas, it won't be very informative. Just like this. Pixels, pixels, pixels. Low resolution, small image. This video is from 1998. Classic. I hope there are no more cameras like this anywhere. Look at how it shows. It's probably 3 or 6 frames per second and terrible quality. Back then, IP video surveillance was exactly like this, when even 12 frames per second cost a fortune. But again, no information, no faces. And the camera is also placed far away. It is likely that this is at the checkpoint to receive some general information. And then a series of traffic accidents happened. So which car, the red one or the black one, is precisely at fault and who actually hit whom? So this is it. A classic example of very strange night lighting. It indeed actually provides us with no information, no faces, no license plates. It's even unclear what kind of car is there. The camera is also selected. Again, it depends on the task and what the person who left it wanted, if they wanted to monitor their car. Unfortunately, even the car itself is very poorly visible. A classic example of glare from infrared lighting. That is, when a car approaches, this often happens with faces as well. The license plate, because it is reflective, appears white. For this, the smart DR function is used, an intelligent night lighting that solves this issue. Additionally, the double DR function will help with this. But here is a 420 TVL camera, which is also from the early to mid-90s, with a resolution of approximately 420 TVL. We see a scene where a woman leaves some kind of package on the street. We don't have any information about what the package is or why she did it, and the video ends there. This video is an example of when cameras are placed high and people are running. People are running around again without WDR. The image quality is quite low, meaning some action definitely took place, but unfortunately we can't clearly identify a single person from this footage. That means placing the camera lower, using one with WDR functionality, and opting for higher resolution so that at least they pass by the camera. Somehow their faces were clearly visible. Otherwise, after all, what's the point? What's the point of spending money on this video surveillance? The camera installation is quite unusual. It's placed right here. The camera itself is pretty decent. But how is it placed? What was the reason behind installing the camera like this? Did they want to monitor this object, this area? Why didn't they place the camera here? Here it gets closer, and the viewing angle would be sufficient, and it would also be visible on the left. If you wanted to monitor this area, the approach, why did you place it so high? You can't even see faces here. It's a very strange task, a very strange solution. Meticulously and carefully installing the camera at this particular angle. Here comes a person. I'm not even talking about the car, you can see it yourself. A person is walking, practically coming right up close. So let's see, I think he was more or less probably around here, right? Let's try to capture his face. There, his face maybe around. And what exactly can we do, perhaps, certainly in order to find him? But even if we know this person, identifying them by such pixels is actually indeed very much difficult. So what does that mean? What rules should be followed when choosing video surveillance systems? Looking at pixels is no longer relevant. The market is currently in such disarray that cameras with a 2 megapixel lens can come with a terrible sensor, awful light sensitivity characteristics, and will perform like cameras from the 90s. Look at sample recordings. Wherever you purchase a video surveillance system, look at sample recordings carefully, talk to the seller thoroughly, and choose according to your specific needs. If you see that you need to install a camera, and the object is potentially, as we saw in the first picture, 5 meters away from you, and you will need the WDR function because the sun shines here, causing potential glare and overexposure. It is essential to install it with this function to ensure optimal performance in various lighting conditions and avoid potential issues. If you are installing in the entrance and the door opens, lets light into a dark area, then this function is needed. Choose a camera that supports this. Each manufacturer will have different specifications. For this distance, with this level of importance, I would recommend a minimum of at least a 2 megapixel video surveillance system, but preferably a 4 megapixel one. On our website, we have made a scale not by megapixels, but by distance in the filter. 5, 7 meters, 7, 20, 20, 40, 40, 60, so that people, and we always teach everyone, we tell everyone, what is your task? First of all, how many cameras do you need? Secondly, the most important thing is the required clarity and precision. How many meters do you want between the camera's location and the place where an offense might occur? And make sure to first look for indicators to avoid making such mistakes and errors. Additionally, consider the lighting conditions and potential obstructions. Well, if you don't have the money, there are two options. Either save up or don't install it. Find some other ways to protect your property because, as we can see, something happened and there's no information. It is useless. It is purely informational for business. Information meaning whether a person comes to work on time or not, in any way at all, whether the security guard is at their post or not. For these purposes, if it is important to you, it might make sense to install this kind of video surveillance. If the task is protection, then less than 2 megapixels with a good matrix. Again, there is a difference between 2 megapixel cameras. 2 megapixels with a high quality, good matrix and advanced WDR function would deliver a crystal clear image here. Furthermore, even now, just as they are standing, specifically this person who is standing right here, when they enter, it would be more than enough for us to capture their faces and print them out, considering that these guys, who more or less professionally jumped onto the bench, there are those individuals. There is a high probability that this is a repeat offender who has already come to the attention of the police, and the police will be able to work with them on hot leads. Friends, I wish for you to have video surveillance and never need to use it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video if you enjoyed it, and share it.